All right, every second matters of this broadcast. I'm talking over the liner. We've got William Geen from AliPac.us now joining us, Stuart Rhodes from Oathkeepers.org in studio. We're breaking all of this down, what is going to come of this Smollett thing. And here's the thing. We're not sitting here obsessing over Smollett because he's a Hollywood actor or because we're going along with the mainstream news trends. It's because we recognize that this could be the card that is pulled out from the house of cards that makes the whole thing crumble. We already know Democrats engaged in provocateur events. They got caught by Project Veritas. We already know they stage hate crimes. Dozens have been exposed in the last 2 years. It goes all the way back to Tawana Browley. So we got a lawyer called in from Chicago, John, we're going to go to in a second. But first, William Geen joins us. He's just joining us right now. William, what is your take on the recent developments here?
What, with the Smollett case?
Yes.
There? Well, you know, I was on a couple of days back about the fakehatecrimes.org website, which Monday morning was the first of the news cycle to begin after the Smollett case fell apart and really became exposed for the false flag attempt to create a race war that it was. And fakehatecrimes.org, I don't even know who runs the site, but they've got over 349 different stories up there. And, of course, the more recent ones like the Covington case, the one that InfoWars talked a lot about, the attempt to pin the shooting of a 7-year-old black girl in Houston on white supremacists. And what people need to realize is not only is the left/media corporate complex running from one false flag hate crime to the next, but beyond that, what the media is doing on a regular basis, what Hollywood is doing with movies on a regular basis, what the Southern Poverty Lie Center and the Defamation League are doing on a regular basis is the exact same tactic. They're trying to invert reality and make it look like Americans, predominantly Americans who are constitutionalists or loyal to or of European descent, are the most violent, dangerous, problematic, enslaving, wife-beating, Indian-killing people on the planet. By the stats, we're amongst the safest next to some of the folks in Asia when it comes to actual crime stats. And if you're looking for crime statistics and violent crime and who's actually dangerous, it's illegal immigrants and people coming from third world nations.
But the reason why it's key to point that out is because the reason why they stage these hate crimes is because they have to stage them. They have to manufacture them to try to perpetuate this narrative that doesn't actually exist in America. William Geen, quick 30 seconds. William, we'll get more from you on the other side. What's your response?
I really hope the legal professional rise to this. I'm no attorney, but I could certainly use one to sue my detractors that are doing something similar to what Smollett just tried to do to all Trump supporters. I mean, is there such thing as a class action defamation suit? We know there are people out there who were harmed probably in reaction, physically harmed by people who were operating off of this false information about MAGA hat wearing Trump supporters, you know, yelling MAGA slogans while beating Jussie Smollett. There should be some type of lawsuit somewhere that could be filed by people against Smollett. And if Smollett's employer wants to keep him on board, if they want to stand by him, because last report I saw was Fox was saying 2 days ago they're standing by him.
But that's what I'm saying. This could have become a national issue. William Geen from AliPac.us is with us. There's a big spending bill. It includes a lot of dangerous amnesty here, William. Break this down.
Well, the president signed a bill on February 15th, the day after Valentine's, and most people remember the day as the day they heard there would be an emergency declaration to build the wall. And so we looked on Facebook and Twitter and saw lots of Trump voters and supporters dancing and gleefully exclaiming, they're getting the wall through an emergency proposal, or declaration. What they missed was, or a lot of people missed, was Trump signed into a law that was rushed into law through the budget bill before 99% of Americans, white, black, Democrat, Republican, anybody, could even know what was in the bill. And we need to stop right there because we have broad appeal. All Americans should agree with us when we say that Americans deserve the amount of time to learn what's in legislation, to react to that legislation before it's voted on. Apparently, President Trump does not agree. Neither do most of the vast majority of Democrats and the subsection of Rhino Republicans that voted for that budget bill to be passed within 24 hours of its release. Inside the bill, there's an amnesty for unaccompanied children or minors that they can't be deported between now and September. Anybody sponsoring one of those can't be deported. Anybody living in a household with one of those can't be deported. Anyone who wants to be a potential sponsor of a UAC, unaccompanied child, can now be waived from America's existing immigration laws because of what Trump signed into law. The bill also doubles H-2B unskilled labor visas. It increased legal immigration. He campaigned specifically on lowering legal immigration levels. He just signed a law to increase legal immigration levels. And there's even a reduction of detention beds that will increase catch and release, increase the number of Americans killed by illegal immigrants. The Angel families, 6 different Angel parents were in the Oval Office begging him not to sign the bill. He signed the bill. So at this moment, Trump is not responding to us. He's not responding to the Angel parents. He's not responding to the people that he made a lot of promises to win the election so historically in 2016. So next week, we have to be ready because they're already Jared Kushner, who has his offices at 666 Fifth Avenue in New York, is in charge of this. He's Trump's surrogate, Trump's the hand of Trump in this matter. And he's already meeting with big businesses planning to pass another immigration bill, probably before anybody can read it, with more legal immigration increases and more amnesties for illegal immigrants.
Now, this is an unpopular opinion, I think, maybe when it comes to populism, but I think when it comes to common sense and logic, this is not meant to be insensitive. I think we need to look at what we did in 1920 to about 1965, when we pretty much just halted all immigration. And there were reasons for this, economic reasons, et cetera. And I just say, hey, look, this isn't because we don't want immigrants here. We obviously want immigrants here. So many great immigrants have come here and contributed to the society, but we have a national emergency. I mean, there's a national emergency at the southern border. There's a national emergency in the whole country when it comes to illegal immigrants. I mean, we've got probably at least 20, maybe 30 million illegal immigrants in this country right now. And who knows what that's doing to us economically and culturally. We need to address this and get this figured out before we take in another 30 million. Stuart?
Well, yeah. And William, so that's William's point is that's why Trump was elected. He was elected to put a stop to this pattern that's destructive of our country. And unfortunately, he has signed into law a budget bill, like you said, that creates basically a wide open amnesty. I mean, we're talking about potentially millions of people who are now immune from being deported, including the ones who are already here illegally, right?
Anybody that wants to sponsor a UAC or be a potential sponsor or live in a household, and we would contend that the bill actually will increase child trafficking, which is horrible because the black market value of an unaccompanied illegal alien child just went up through the roof with the signing of this bill. But once again, this was all conducted and it was planned in secrecy. It was rolled out and voted into law within less than 24 hours, signed by the president despite the Angel family's pleas. And now he said at his press conference he wants to move on to broader or larger immigration reform. Well, I've been fighting amnesty bills for 15 years. Immigration reform means they're going to go for passing amnesty for 10+ million illegal aliens. And if people, especially people who voted for or support Donald Trump or want to see him win in 2020, don't join with us to try to put a stop to this, I think his chances of winning in 2020 go down. I think the chances of us saving the country, because we may already be crossing a point of no return. There's so many illegal immigrants voting in elections, especially in states like California and Nevada. Millions of non-citizens are voting, and millions of non-citizens voted against Trump in 2016, but he hasn't taken care of that campaign promise to get them off of the voter registrations. So if you like Trump or you're upset with Trump, either way, we really like your support at allypac.us, because next, please get on our email alerts, because next week, every single Republican lawmaker that signed that budget bill or voted for it, Trump and the members of the House and the Senate, we've really got to pressure them hard next week and make it very clear to them that we're not going to put up with secret legislation. We need to take this Jussie Smollett case and use that to go after the Soros groups at Right Wing Watch, the ADL, and the Southern Poverty Law Center, who are out there doing Jussie Smollett kind of false flag reporting every single day against good Americans that have no racist intentions.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Everything these people report is Jussie Smollett level. I mean, they say there's no crisis at the southern border. There's damn children being trafficked. I mean, they complain about children being put in cages. How about children being trafficked for rape and sex? So here's my thing. I can put my politics aside and just kind of be reasonable and think about solutions here. So I would say, okay, look, if we've got 20, 30 million illegal immigrants here, we got to do something about it. We can't deport them all. Not all of them are bad people. Some of them actually want to contribute. So I would say, okay, fine. You want to cut a deal for amnesty? Let's think about this reasonably. And let's say, okay, fine. You want to cut a deal for amnesty? We just made 10 million illegal immigrants. We just gave them a path to citizenship in the next 10 years, per se. Well, then fine. Okay, stop immigration then. Stop whatever, however long it takes for 10 million more people to come here. Stop immigration for that many years.
That's what Reagan did, right?
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with the deal. Even if you only gave amnesty to 1 million illegals like Reagan did in '86, which caused the current disaster of 22 million, at that point, it becomes numerically impossible for anybody campaigning on the things that Donald Trump did of securing the border and stopping and enforcing our existing immigration laws. It becomes impossible for anyone like that to ever win another national election. And within 10 to 20 years, Democrats take full and permanent monopoly control of the presidency, the Supreme Court, Congress, and the Senate.
This is actually key. Stuart, I want you to break down the history of this, because the theory was if Reagan did this, it would curtail illegal immigration. It did the exact opposite.
Right. It incentivized it. They said, hey, if we go in and stay there long enough, we'll eventually get amnesty, which is going to be reality pretty soon. So, William, what should we be doing right now to stop what you see is coming in the next 2 weeks? And what can Trump do to fix what he just did that was a mistake by signing that budget bill?
Well, right now, the main thing we want to try to pressure Trump on is to not do it again. And that's going to take his own supporters being willing to hold him accountable. If you're an ever-Trumper that's, never going to criticize the president no matter what he says or does, you've already been neutralized in this fight. The Democrats are never going to listen to you, and Trump has no reason to listen to you. So the main people who can make a difference here are the people who voted for Trump like I did, who maybe donated to him or volunteered for him like I did, who are going to speak out and organize with groups like AliPac.us or Numbers USA or FAIR. Organize. We need people to organize with the anti-illegal immigration, anti-amnesty groups immediately, and to get ready for what's coming next week, because we just got steamrolled. And for 15 years, I've been fighting amnesty and legislation in D.C., and it's been hard-fought battles where shoestring organizations like mine have taken on million-dollar, billion-dollar lobbying efforts, and we've won. We've won every time because the vast majority of Americans, like 80+%, don't want amnesty and are with us. We lost on Friday. At the hand of Trump, we lost our first amnesty battle. It's going to cost Americans lives. And if we lose the next one, we could lose the war. There is a place where the war is lost, where they have pumped in so many people from around the world with antithetical views of the United States and the indigenous people like us that live here now, that they take control, and there's no peaceful political way left to stop that.
And that's why they're all rushing the border right now to come in here, vote illegally, and they want to turn Texas blue. Thank you so much, William Geen, AliPac.us, Stuart Rhodes, oathkeepers.org.